How do you see AI changing the way consumers shop for products?
You can actually use AI to feed your data and then get some insights that maybe you wouldn't have thought about.
I think DSP is the most effective upper funnel channel for commerce advertisers today.
If you have sponsor search and if you've got DSP, then you can actually do some analytics on how many times should I show my ads? Is it better to show it 2 times, 3 times, 4 times? Is it better to do sponsor product and DSP together? Retail media is really about reaching the shoppers where they are.
Olivier, thanks so much for joining me. Really appreciate it.
No, I'm very excited to be here. Thanks, Lucas.
Okay, so you lived in Cannes for 3 years, right?
Yeah.
From Versailles originally.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm French, 100% born and raised in France. I lived in Versailles for 18 years. And then I studied in France and in the US. And then when I came back to France, I went to live in Cannes for 3 years. That's actually where I got married 24 years ago.
At the Carlton Hotel.
Yes.
Under epic circumstances.
Yeah, we talk about that one day if we have more time. Great, actually, circumstances, great pictures, great memories. I love the Carlton. And so we lived here for 3 years before we moved to other places in France and then decided to move to Ukraine for 9 years.
You were in Kiev?
Yes, exactly. It was a fun experience. I loved it. And then we moved to Colorado about 8 years ago.
A lot of geography, a lot of distance. I spent a lot of time in Ukraine.
Really?
Yeah, we used to have a team there. We still have some Ukrainian employees, but once the war happened, we kind of relocated those folks. But yeah, I was spending a lot of time in Kiev and in Odessa.
Very nice. Wow. When was that?
That was I want to say 2020. Yeah.
Wow. Awesome.
2020 was great. 2020. 2021 as well.
Okay.
Yeah, really for like our developer and Shopify ecosystem.
Yeah.
So on the professional side though, you actually have you have a lot of experience in retail media, Amazon ecosystem. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I'm currently the managing director for marketplaces and retail media here at Darkroom. I'm leading a team very diverse. We are really global, and that's something that I really enjoyed at Darkroom. Is I have people in the US, in Portugal, in Brazil, in Spain, actually, even in Pakistan. So we have a global team of professionals, which is really nice to help our clients grow wherever they are. It could be in Europe, they could be in the US. That's really what I enjoyed. My team is here to help you as a client to grow on Amazon and Walmart and other marketplaces. Could be marketplace strategy, for example. Could be product. Could be creatives. Product description page. Could be your image assets. Or it could be retail media as well. And how do we spend your advertising budget as efficiently as possible to help you be successful on those platforms?
Mm-hmm. And before, since coming in, you're obviously new to Darkroom. Yeah. I'm really excited to have you on board. Prior to that, though, you were at Commerce IQ.
Yeah.
You built retail media and marketplaces there.
Yeah, exactly. So I was the head of retail media at Commerce IQ. I was managing. My team was managing advertising for clients, large enterprise brands. Total advertising budget was about $200 million for brands selling for a few $1 billion on Amazon, Walmart, Target, Instacart, you name it. Prior to that, I was with another agency. I was leading the advertising and content practices as well. And prior to that, I was on the brand side of things. I was managing a few brands in the US. That means Amazon, of course. That means DTC, websites, which means I really understand the challenges that our clients meet today and how to help them be successful on those platforms.
And so I saw your academic background is in engineering, though.
Yes, I am actually.
You went to Caltech.
Yes,
I have an engineering degree.
Yeah, electrical engineering. Yeah.
It's just how did you end up in the commerce world?
Yeah, well, I studied electrical engineering and then I did something completely different after my MBA in building materials. Where I was the CEO of a business in Eastern Europe. I wanted to go back to the tech business, and that's why I went back to. I started with retail media because it's tech, very tech oriented. What you do in the classical advertising when we did advertising in newspaper or on TV has nothing to do with retail media today. Retail media today is based on a lot of tech. You are successful if you have a successful tech. And that's why actually Darkroom decided to partner with one of the top tech providers to make sure that we can actually help our clients with their retail media needs.
I want to talk today about for the layman, what is retail media? How can they better understand the Amazon ecosystem? Because these are two separate things. And you can tell me if I think about this conceptually, right? I think about the Amazon ecosystem as being its own beast from a advertising perspective, from a brand ecosystem perspective. And then I think about the RMNs as a way to drive retail velocity really on some of these other channels. The marketplace function, yes, Walmart 3P exists. I know Target is starting to become a bigger thing, but I just don't think about it in the same way as Amazon. Am I thinking about those two things in the right way?
Yeah, of course. So in the old way, you were running advertising on newspaper, for example. And it's very hard to judge if your advertising campaign is successful. Like you're spending $1 million on newspaper. Do you know how much sales you're getting from that? You don't really. TV is kind of the same as well. Retail media, you're really doing advertising at the point of sales, at the retailer. You're doing advertising on Amazon, for example. So it's like if you're a Walmart or a Target and you sit at Walmart or Target at the point of sales where your shoppers are, and that's where you do advertising. Now you can run advertising for Amazon, you can run advertising or retail media campaigns at Walmart. You can really choose which retailers you're going to advertise, where, and what kind of products you're going to advertise. So retail media is really about reaching the shoppers where they are, but in a smart way. Let's say you are a shopper looking for buying a black TV, for example. Then I'm going to advertise, those kind of keywords, black TV, the size of the screen, and so on. And so I can actually track how much you're buying, how much we spend, and what's the return on our investment or the return on advertising spend. And that's what retail media is about.
Incredible. It's very bottom of funnel at the point of sale.
Not only. So we have bottom of funnel, which is typically, if we take Amazon sponsor product, but you have top of the funnel as well. You've got sponsor brand, you've got DSP as well. DSP stands for demand side platform. That's the Amazon programmatic advertising solution. What it means is typically, instead of focusing on Amazon only, you can target shoppers of Amazon. You could target them on websites. You can target them on Fire TV. You can target them on Twitch or MTV. You can target them in many different places to actually build brand awareness outside of Amazon. The difference between sponsor product and DSP is if, for example, on sponsor products, you're looking for specific keywords or you are targeting specific products or categories. DSP, you are focusing on audiences. So let's say, for example, you want to target people who have viewed your brands or who have purchased from you. Or maybe shoppers who have put a product in a cart, but they never bought that product. Or maybe you could target another audience like lifestyle audiences. Let's say sport enthusiasts, for example. Maybe new parents. You could target, if, for example, we are targeting, some people have bought a yoga mat. You can actually target complementary products like, for example, resistance bands. You can actually target lookalike audiences, people who have bought from you. You're building an audience that look like them, but who have not bought yet from you. And then you can target those people. So DSP goes upper funnel.
I think that, and for this reason, I think this is why DSP is the most effective upper funnel channel for commerce advertisers today, because of the advertising data and the shopper data that Amazon has inherently. It just is so much more robust than any other CTV or programmatic offering that lacks that type of data. And I think this is just because Amazon is such a robust closed loop ecosystem, and they're tying the commerce shopper data to these more robust top of funnel advertising solutions.
Yeah, you're totally right. Amazon is probably the number one DSP platform today because of the data that they have, but also because they are very much advanced into what you can do with them. They launched AMC, or Amazon Marketing Cloud, as well, which is an analytic tool where you can actually analyze some data. So if you have sponsor search or sponsor products on one hand, and if you've got DSP, then you can actually, in a safe environment where you don't actually see the name of the people, you look at them as a cohort, anonymous. You can actually do some analytics on how many times should I show my ads? Is it better to show it 2 times, 3 times, 4 times? Is it better to do sponsor product and DSP together? You can actually judge those effects to actually see what, as an advertiser, makes the best sense for you.
Interesting. And some of the creative placements I think are really important. Like you mentioned Fire TV or Prime streaming type of advertisements. You have these large creative formats that you can actually build brand awareness through. And, I just think about other comps. I mean, I was just talking about this with Oren, but like, I guess it's similar to potentially running YouTube within the Google ecosystem. But the difference, I think, is that Google just doesn't have the same connectivity that Amazon has at the point of sale. But I would love to hear your thoughts.
No, totally. And with DSP, you can do a display, you can do video, you can do audio as well. So you have a full range of possibilities and on inventory as well to run your advertising on. So that's definitely the best place you can to increase the brand awareness, for example. So if you're a new brand, you want to think about doing DSP to make your brand known to many potential shoppers. If you want to focus on the upper funnel to bring more traffic to Amazon or Walmart, for example, that's the place to be. Typically, when you run advertising on Amazon, you're focused on conversion, but when you run DSP campaigns, you're focused into top of the funnel.
The measurement solutions, that's through AMC then.
So AMC is really measurement, yes, exactly. If you want to look at some specific audience, if you want to see at some, you need to get really a curious mindset and to figure out what kind of requests you're going to have. Like, what are the people? What is my typical lookalike audience that I was mentioning? And then you can target those people. What is the long-term value of a customer, for example? What about repetitive customers, repetitive purchases as well? All of this you can actually use AMC to track all your DSP information, all your search information, but outside as well. Like if you have customers buying on your website, you can actually put that into a data lake as well and use AMC to extract some valuable data. And that's something we can do for our clients as well. Typically, you will need to have search and DSP to make AMC interesting for you.
Interesting. And then broadly speaking, so how do you define retail media?
I think retail media is really about running advertising at the point of sale for many different retailers. Could be Amazon, could be Walmart, could be Target. Not only at the retailers, but also of the retailer to bring people to buy from the retailer. So it's really like if you are in a physical store and you want shoppers, you're talking to shoppers, you talk to them and you want them to convert and to hear about your brand. For example, one thing that we can do, what is really important in retail media is share of voice. Organic or paid, do people know about your product? If you look at maybe the top 100 keywords, what is your share of that voice? How much people do hear you, so you can actually convert them better, but also know more about your customers and that they know more about your brand.
What platforms are you thinking about with retail media beyond Amazon?
So Amazon is obviously a big one. Walmart as well. Target is another one. Instacart as well, depending on the products that you have, and Kroger as well.
And Criteo. How do you think about Criteo?
So I think Criteo is good. When I'm looking at the client pool that we have, I see a few clients on Criteo, but it's not as advanced as the other retailers.
Yeah. No, I think Instacart is a very elegant solution because we have so much in grocery and food and beverage. Where do you see the retail media ecosystem evolving? And today I'm sitting down with the head of Deliveroo Media and the GM of Uber Advertising. It just seems like every day a new retail media platform pops up. There's PayPal ads now. There's so many different places to advertise. How do you keep up with it, and where is it going?
So I see for many clients, it's very hard to keep track of all of those retailers and platforms because you need to make sure that you've got content syndication is important. You want to make sure you have the same content in every places that you have. And every time there is a new retailer opening, you want to make sure that the content and the brand image are aligned. You want to make sure that your advertising budget as well is spread correctly across those platforms. So I think moving forward, as more and more retail media networks grow and grow, it's very important for the brand to understand not only Amazon, but other places as well, and know how much to spend on those platforms and what kind of content and products. The products you will sell on the Walmart are maybe not the same that you would sell on Amazon. Sometimes they are the same, sometimes they are different. The shoppers are different. The price are different. It's the same every time the retail media expands, network expand, you need to figure out what's going to be your marketplace strategy. And that's actually one thing that we do with my team is helping not only running your retail media, not only running your creatives, but also your marketplace strategy. How are you successful on those platforms?
I'm curious, so there's obviously been a lot of talk within Amazon about Rufus, and Alexa is a part of the ecosystem too. Like, how do you see AI changing the way consumers shop for products on Amazon, and how that influences the advertising formats?
Yeah, I think you're right. Well, AI is helping advertisers first to create insight. Like we do it when we want to see which companies is performing well, what's happening in your account. You can actually use AI to feed your data and then get some insights that you wouldn't have thought about. Now, as a shopper, Rufus in particular is very important. So advertising with or on Rufus will be one of the next few things, probably important things where you want to be.
And what do those ad placements look like? Are they products in chat? Is it like hyperlinks in chat?
Yeah, so Amazon is just starting with this, so I'm not sure exactly what it's going to look, but it could be exactly what you're saying. Is you type a request on Rufus and then you get directly the product recommendation and the sponsored product as well. Like today on Amazon, when you do a search, you're getting the organic results, but you're getting also sponsored results, which is actually people like us paying to show you our products. So you could have the same with Rufus. You ask a question to Rufus, you get a list of possible products, but you get a list of sponsored products as well that you may want to advertise on.
I love that. And so just for I think the layman out there who's advertising on Amazon, I think why this is so important is because you have to understand your entire program. Like Rufus is going to make recommendations based on the amalgamation of things that customers have already said about your product. So reviews become incredibly important. Your organic program becomes incredibly important. That's how you're going to start to rank as you do now on Amazon. But I think it's going to become more important as the queries become more targeted. So if I'm in market for skincare and I have a particular problem, or maybe I say I only want products like this, I think leveraging big data and AI, they're going to be able to make a lot more pointed recommendations for the consumer based on that. So what does that do? That saves time for the consumer. They're not going to need to go through Amazon's, pages of results. And for the brands, that's going to mean they're going to need to provide better products and services and provide better Amazon experiences through their creative, through answering complaints about the products, through advertising the products correctly. That's going to contribute to a better organic program. And I think, as always, because Amazon's already pretty mature, advertising is going to be a part of the mix.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. And if you think at the beginning, you had to scroll hundreds of products to find the right product for you. And then now with Amazon has improved the search results. And so you're getting way more relevant results. Most people stay on the first page, for example. But still, you have sometimes to go through page 2, plus 3. So if now you could have Rufus advising you what are the best top 3 products for you, then definitely that saves you time. But that means now I have to be on those top 3 for sure.
Yeah, I think it's very exciting for commerce because what we're seeing, and this is kind of like the advent of, I would say the last 20 years in commerce. It's just like the improvement of the user experience. And so you saw the advent of direct consumer websites and one-click purchasing on Amazon, just like getting the things that people need to them faster. AI is just the next rendition of that, where we're going to be able to get people the products that they want a lot faster. And Amazon's the rails I think that's going to run on because they have the fulfillment network and the ability to deliver in such an expedient time horizon.
One thing we have not discussed is about the difference between 1P and 3P.
So, yeah, true. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So 1P is typically first party. That means you're selling to Amazon. Amazon is the retailer. Amazon is buying from you as a brand, as a seller, and then Amazon sells to shoppers. That means Amazon decides more or less on the pricing. That means that Amazon is responsible for the fulfillment and in particular the customer returns, about as well customer support when people want to know about the products, about your products, have any issues with the products. So Amazon is acting like the retailer. Amazon is doing everything for you. For brands, that's a great thing because you have repetitive purchase orders from Amazon. So it's nice. And you don't manage this complexity of customer returns, customer support, and so on and so forth. There are a few drawbacks, though. One is that you do not have full control of your pricing, which could be an issue. The other one is you need to coordinate very strongly with Amazon to make sure that when you're running campaigns, they fall at the same time as the promotions on Amazon as well. So you have to make sure about what you're doing. Also, when you are getting used to purchase regular purchase orders, what happens if Amazon doesn't send you a new PO? What are you going to do? You don't sell to clients directly, so you're really dependent on Amazon. 3P now is third party, so that's most sellers are there, which means you are selling directly to shoppers through Amazon. So you're responsible for the fulfillment, to shipping to clients. You're responsible for the customer returns if you have plenty. You're responsible for the customer support. But you have way more flexibility on the pricing. You're responsible for your pricing. You can do anything you want. And you can run your advertising and match it at the same time that you're running discounts and promos on Amazon as well. So you have more flexibility, but way more complexity as well. Typically, what we see is that when you start on Amazon, most brands start 3P, and then as they grow, they move to 1P. But then some come back actually to 3P after being 1P for a few years. They decide that 3P makes more sense for them.
Why would you switch from 3P to 1P?
Well, if you're 3P and you're starting to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, that's becoming way more complex now. Shipping to your customers, managing the returns to your customers. That's a lot of complexity. Sometimes it's way easier just to ship a whole container to Amazon and let them do the rest. Mm-hmm. Some do go back and do a hybrid, 1P and 3P, for example. But I would say usually in your brand process, when you grow big, you think about moving to 1P, even though sometimes you have profitability issues because of the prices, and then you want to go back to 3P. So it depends where you are. And that's why it's important to talk to your agency as well, to know what they recommend and what's the best path for you.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm starting to see, I see, especially like in our niche where it's like highly branded consumer startups, like fast growing brands, you know, they work with a reseller or a marketplace partner, like, you know, and there's so many of them.
Yeah.
And then the business really starts to grow and they don't have control over pricing or, I mean, this is different than 1P though too. Reseller is a different type of thing, but it's a similar type of relationship.
Yeah.
And yeah, our whole thing is like, let's retake the program for you, own it for you, make sure you have the creative experience, pricing controls that you have. And I think this is where an agency fills the gaps really nicely.
Totally.
Handling inventory, advertising, creative, the whole ecosystem.
Yeah, I think that's also something that Darkroom does very well is, offering that full service. That's what brands want. In my career in the past, I had that request from clients. Hey, you're doing only retail media. What about content? What about helping me with my strategy?
So you were just doing retail media on Amazon.
Exactly. Yeah, or Walmart or the other platforms.
Wow. Okay. And yeah, I think the partners of the future, for me, like that's not very defensible as an agency. If you're an agency, you need to have a multi-pronged approach and you need to have ownership over the outcome and the delivery of the services.
Exactly. So you want to be helping your clients not only with advertising, but with their marketplace strategy as well, with their creatives, because as an advertiser, you are dependent on the creatives being good. You are depending on the strategy as well. Let's say now some of the brands want to do website optimization, want to do Google advertising. You want your agency, the same agency, to be able to do this for you. And so that's something, it's very easy for me to connect you with my colleagues to help you. And it's going to be with the same agency, with teams working together. And that's really what clients are asking today.
Yeah. And I look at our offering and I think it's very unique in the market when we obviously have robust advertising standards. We handle the organic program and we're integrating AI workflows to make that a lot more systematic and seamless. But then we also have the creative component, which I think is just inherently missing from performance and Amazon agencies because there's no reason for them to be hiring creatives in the way that we think about branded experts. And then obviously the operations and backend support. I'm looking forward to really layering in retail media and more top of funnel advertising capabilities for the clients. That's what I want to see happen.
I think when clients start, they focus only on PPC and search. And then when they get bigger, they think about DSP, for example, because that's where you actually bring more traffic to Amazon. Otherwise, you're very dependent on where you're fishing. You're dependent on the shoppers that are there.
But you're depending on the demand that already exists.
Exactly. Now, if you're a new brand, no one knows you as well. So doing DSP makes sense because you can get your brand known. And that's what we have done for a few clients, where actually we ran some DSP campaigns and it was very successful because they needed some brand awareness that they didn't get when shoppers are already looking on Amazon.
Yeah, and I think from an advertising perspective, you need to understand where the profit centers of your business are. Is it D2C? Is it retail? Is it Amazon? And again, then you figure out what is going to be your top of funnel channel. For a lot of the brands that we work with, that's Meta, that's CTV. But it's just because there's a blind spot in how robust DSP is. And that's what we're trying to educate people on. DSP is a great top of funnel option and it exists all within that profit center for your business. Amazon.
Yeah, and DSP is often more profitable than search itself because you're targeting the right audiences, not only the products, but you're really targeting the right people instead of anybody.
I love that.
All right, my friend. That's it. Thank you, Lucas. Crushed it.